I want to talk about 5 songs that will actually highlight a concept within the pentatonic scale. So each one of these songs are really cool songs that really embodies an idea, a concept, something that we can learn from. And the first song I want to start with is one of the first songs I learned on guitar, maybe the second song or the third song, it's hard to say. Okay, so this is a song you know, and it goes like this. Yeah, you know it. Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. It's actually a good song, right? I mean, it's a great song. And I remember like just jamming on tons of Led Zeppelin like records, just like playing pentatonic stuff. But the reason I want to talk about this song is actually the melody and not the chords. So what's happening in the melody is kind of like this, right? So the melody, if I remember correctly, is a right? So what's happening there is really A minor pentatonic, but there is one thing that's happening that is not the A minor pentatonic, and this is that note B. It really hits that B natural quite often in a melody. Very beautiful. And what is that? So that is the 9 in relationship to the A minor. So that's the 9. It's a super colorful note, and what it tells us is that when we're soloing and when we're creating music using the pentatonic scale, we can totally add the 9. So just listen one more time to the melody, just the beginning phrase. Right, hitting that kind of like lingering, beautiful, suspended note. And it's also, of course, in the chords there, which is a different thing to converse about. But let's try for a second to take a little chord progression and talking about starting kind of like guitar. So I'm gonna bring one of the first progression I ever played on guitar and trying to solo. So I remember me and my friends back, I don't know, back in school, like elementary school or something like that, just jamming on these chord progression for hours and days. And the chords were basically A minor over G, A minor over F sharp, which later I discovered it's F sharp, half diminished, and F major. So I want to take that for a second, just to have it as a backing track, and we're going to use the A minor pentatonic and solo with the 9. So I'm going to add that natural 9 to the mix. Check it out. Just pentatonic, but adding that 9. And it has that painful I don't want to even bend it. I just want to hear the 9. So the point of this part of this song is really just you can take the A minor pentatonic, this beautiful and simple thing, and just add one color to it and get like a universe. Oh, and I know I told you guys that I'm making an album, and okay, so check it out. This is the test pressing of the vinyl. The vinyl is actually almost ready. If you like the vinyl and you like vinyl, and you want to support the new album, you can check it out here. And if you live in New York, we're actually playing a live gig. We'll be playing at Brooklyn Bowl on October 23rd. This is Saturday evening. It would mean the world if you could make it or tell a friend that might be in New York. We're trying to have a cool and a fun show. So yeah, I hope to see you there. 2. This song is a beautiful song. It's called My Girl by The Temptations. The reason I want to talk about it is the song starts with this kind of line, right? And this is basically the same scale, but not exactly. So it's not A minor anymore, although it's the same notes. These are actually notes in C major pentatonic, and that's important to understand. And what's happening in this song is like it kind of starts from this and then goes to the F, right? Just kind of does the same idea. And for us, what I want to look at just for a second is the melody, right? So the melody of the song starts here. So what I want to do right now is just taking that idea, that major third, and kind of run it through the scale. So for me, this song is beautiful. I love the major pentatonic, and I was like, okay, what happens if we just do, but throughout the scale? So check it out again, really slowly. I'm basically playing thirds, right? I'm skipping one note, but it gives me this beautiful color. And what I want to do is try and solo and improvise, grabbing that element and adding it to the mix with these couple of chords. So let's loop these chords. So what I was doing here, basically, I was just using that idea of the C major pentatonic, grabbing that B at the end, and using those thirds. And for me, it just came from the melody, just because the melody started like here. So I was like, oh, okay, what happens if I just take that concept, that idea, and run it through the scale? That's it. 3. The next song I want to talk about is a song, we all know this song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song called Amazing Grace. And the reason I want to talk about it is because I was listening to it the other day and I was like, wow, it's such a strong melody, just like right to the heart. And indeed, it's all pentatonic. And if I remember correctly, it starts like this. And you know, these little ornamentations are so beautiful. And I want to talk about exactly that, like that like kind of hammer. What I want to do is just take that A minor pentatonic, again, it could be C major pentatonic or A minor, it doesn't really matter, and use that kind of like extract some of the concept that I liked from this little piece of melody and say, ah, okay, this is that idea of hammer on. It's really cool and very expressive, so why don't I just do it all over the guitar? Right, so I'm just literally taking A minor pentatonic, C minor pentatonic, and kind of like just doing a hammer on to the next note. And again, out of context, maybe it's not that interesting, but in a solo, it's super interesting. Let me just loop a couple of chords. So just kind of C major to B diminished, A minor pentatonic. Check it out here. And I'm gonna use these like hammer-ons. Be natural. So, like you see, the way I'm thinking about it is like I'm grabbing a song that I like that kind of hits me in the heart for some reason, and I'm trying to take even just like a little bit of that and just like saying, okay, cool, that hammer on, that like ornamentation that has like a flair, like that really makes my heart tick. What is it? And then I'll kind of make an exercise out of that and figure out like, oh, okay, that's cool. So why is that so strong? And I think one of the reasons that it sounds so good is because we can really hear the intention. I'm really already hearing this sway, sway. You know, like you're already imagining this note and you're like delaying that, and you're very intentional about it. And I think that's a big deal when playing music. And that's also one of the reasons that pentatonic is so strong. There are 5 notes, so the repetition is higher, and therefore we can, I think, relate more and connect in a stronger way. Check it out. 4. This song is also super, super big. It's called Sunshine of Your Life, of Your Love, sorry. It's by Cream, and the beginning phrase is just this kind of line. Now this is in D minor. I'm going to transpose it to A minor so we can all be in the same key. What's happening here is a really interesting thing. So we talked about A minor pentatonic, and we talked about adding that B natural before, and now we're actually adding another note. And what is that note? Right, the D sharp, if you will, the blue note, that's the flat 5, and that is a super, super colorful note. And I think it's super important to kind of like be able to move between the pentatonic scale and the blues scale, which are, you know, basically the same thing except one note, which is that blue note. So if you practice your, you know, your pentatonic scale, so it's really helpful to also try to find some fingerings and some options to play scale. Another thing I really like doing before kind of diving into soloing is trying to hear it more, so I'll kind of sing it. La, do, and I'm kind of feeling the pain. La, do, do, la, do, re, do, la, do, re dièse, that painful, that flat line. Re dièse, re, do, la, sol, la, do, re dièse, me, sol, la, sol, mi, re dièse, re, do, la, de, so trying to connect our ears and our fingers and all that is super important. So now I'm gonna loop a couple of chords, and I'll loop the same chords and play that scale. Right, that sound, that super painful, and that's exactly why it's so cool. It's like it's so wrong and so intentional. And I think hey, it took me a minute to understand how to kind of imagine and hear the color. So what I would suggest is just really sing it and kind of trying to tag that flat 5, finding melodies and trying to explore. And you know, again, like this is just a beautiful song by that band, you know, and I was like, oh, it's a great song, what's happening there? Like figuring it out and taking bits of pieces of music that you dig. Yes. 5. The last song I want to talk about is a song by the Cranberries. I love that song. It's called Zombie. The chords are kind of cool as well. I remember this is kind of like throwing me back to elementary school. Me and my buddy Asaf, we used to sing the song. He was singing it and I was playing it. It goes like this, right? So, if I remember correctly. And then there's like this melody. Let's wait. So what I actually want to talk about is not the beginning of the melody. I mean, we know it's like. Okay, cool. And then at other section. That's fine. I want to talk about the last part when they hit that distortion. Remember that moment? Just I played the whole song almost for you guys just for that, and that's really important. At least to me, I was like, it feels so good, it's so strong. That's like. That bend, right? So basically we're in the key of E minor, so like bending the 2 that we grabbed from song number 1, right? That 2, that 9, and bending it. So now let's take this for a second and go back to our A minor center. And so we can take the 2 and bend it, right? That's our center. So I was like, okay, if we can bend the 2, can we bend the 3? Oh, we can bend the 3. If we can bend the 3, can we bend the flat 7? That G. Can we bend the 4? Right? So even just this like little brief moment at the end of the whole song that you're just bending the 3, of course it exists in a million songs, but I don't know, I like this song, so I wanted to grab it from that song. But it really I was like highlighting for me. It's like, okay, you can bend notes. Okay, then let's take the scale and just try. So we can try to bend the 1. It's kind of awkward. I mean, you can do it, but it's definitely intense. You can bend the 9 because you can get the flat 3 basically. You can bend the 3 to the major 3, right? You can bend the flat 7, the 4 to the sharp 4, up to the 5. So let me try and loop again in A minor. I'll start with the chord A minor. I'll do a little inversion or something. Now let's try to kind of bend stuff. And what happens with all these things? So it's like those classic lines, like bending the sharp 4 and then kind of holding the E natural. So you have the 5. So you have that like almost like a minor second that is kind of like super clashy and then resolves back. So what I would suggest is just taking the pentatonic scale and taking each note and saying like, how does it feel? And trying to really like emotionally connect it. You're like, does it feel good? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Just like try to explore and express. Yeah. So today, for me, it was a little different, like just grabbing some songs and trying to take these ideas and finding these devices that really are in the music and seeing how we can work with them. It's a really fun thing that I do sometimes as well in jazz world. All are valid concepts that are super fun to explore and, you know, just express with and do some music. Peace. Bye.